Alright, we're back on another live edition of Mascot Madness 2014. We're going to take you through the what we think third round will entail and who we think will win each region. Starting off in the South with the Gators versus the Panthers of Pittsburgh. What do you think there, Bill?
Just like last week, I'm taking the Gators. Doesn't matter who they play. They're a strong mascot, and the Panthers are not good enough to take them.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know why their fans do that. All right, the next game is the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks versus the UCLA Bruins. And last time we weren't sure what a Bruin was, but apparently they were good enough to get by.
Yeah, one of our favorites actually. Your favorite specifically. Shocking victory. And like he said again, we were not sure what a Bruin is, but the Lumberjacks, we have winning this one because we still haven't found out what a Bruin is. So next up is the Dayton Flyers versus the Syracuse Orange. Again, we're kind of dealing with some colors. And I think Bill, you had the Flyers on this one.
Yeah, I do have the Flyers. First round we weren't ready for those colors. Some colors advanced, but this week it's going to be a little different, and I'm confident that the Flyers are going to get past the Orange.
Yeah, another team I'm pretty confident in after watching them play are the Jayhawks. Stanford had a pretty good game against New Mexico, but I don't know if the Cardinals are strong enough to take on the Jayhawks. They look pretty strong. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the Jayhawks. Remember, it's plural, not the Jayhawk, the Jayhawks. So the Jayhawks over the Cardinal. All right, now into the East region, we've got the Virginia Cavaliers versus the Memphis Tigers. The Cavaliers beat the Chanticleers in Memphis. Yeah, this is a puzzling game. What are we talking about here?
Well, the Tigers obviously, clearly a pretty fierce animal. But I'm gonna go with the Cavaliers on this one. I don't know about you, but they looked pretty good against the Chanticleers, and Memphis just snuck one out against George Washington himself. So
good pick there, Freddy. Okay, our next game is one of those colors, the Harvard Crimson versus the Michigan State Spartans.
Yeah, actually a pretty surprising victory over Cincinnati. I remember we picked the Bearcats fairly large over the Crimson of Harvard. And quite shockingly, Harvard came out victorious, but they're taking on a much stronger opponent in the Spartans, and I see this game being a blowout.
I do too, Freddy. Last week we were 16-16, so hopefully we're going to do a little bit better this week.
Yeah.
But maybe not if those Crimson keep moving on through our bracket. All right, our next game is the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah, Cyclones just as strong as we thought they'd be. But again, another surprising victory with the Tar Heels. We thought they'd get caught up in all the tar.
Those Friars must have been pretty easy to catch, though.
Yeah, clearly.
If there's a cyclone coming at you, no way a Tar Heel's getting away.
Yeah, turn and run, but then again they can't run because their heels are stuck in tar.
Cyclones over North Carolina. Okay, and our last game in the East region is the UConn Huskies versus the Villanova Cats.
Yeah, the Cats clearly seem to be bigger Cats than we thought, being able to I guess pounce the pouncing Panthers themselves. But we have the Huskies in this one, or at least I do. They looked pretty strong against St. Joe's. A good comeback win in overtime, wasn't it, I think?
It was an overtime game, and as we predicted, the Huskies ruled the ground, and the Hawks ruling the sky didn't do anything.
Yeah, they fought, but couldn't pull it off.
UConn over Villanova, and that wraps it up for the left side of the bracket, and we're going to go to one of our sponsors back in a bit.
Budweiser presents Real Men of Genius. Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Pants Pulled Extremely Too High Guy. Mr. Pants Pulled Extremely Too High Guy. More than the music video, Get Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Your pants scream, I'm stuck in the 80s. Dude, what are you thinking? You think that you look sophisticated, but you couldn't look nerdier if you were wearing suspenders. Please do my homework. Pull up that high, you won't be ready for the next disaster. A flood, snowstorm, and your ankles won't stay dry. You have wet ankles. So you open up a can of cold Budweiser, Mr. Mom Jeans. 12 packs are only $10.
Alright, and welcome back to the second half of the show where we're going to be covering the West and the Midwest regions. Two big upsets, one in each of these regions. But we're going to start off with the new matchup of Arizona and Gonzaga. We've got the Wildcats versus the Bulldogs. What do you think, Bill?
Well, the Wildcats are one of our predictions we got right in the last round. We said the Wildcats were going to come out victorious, and we were right. The Wildcats did beat the Wildcats. Arizona looked fairly good in their first game, and Gonzaga looked really good versus Oklahoma State. Cowboys was also one of our favorites in our last pick. But we picked the Wildcats over the Bulldogs, kind of a gut pick. We think they should do well, though.
Yeah, like you said, the Bulldogs really controlled the Cowboys the entire game, and the Cowboys just never even had a chance. So even though we think Gonzaga is playing well, I think Arizona, the Wildcats are just at a different level of play.
I agree. Our next game features the North Dakota State Bison. Last time we said they were the Buffalo. Sorry for that mistake. They are the Bison versus the San Diego State Aztecs. We're thinking to go with the Aztecs.
Yeah, we got that pick right in the, I guess what would be called the second round. I think we're going to stick with them.
Yeah, Aztecs over Bison. Next game, a pretty big favorite in the West, the Baylor Bears versus the Creighton Blue Jays.
Yeah, Creighton probably the favorite, according to ESPN analysts. But, we like to really dig deep and really analyze. And we have the Bears. I mean, who would pick a Blue Jay over a Bear? I mean, it just seems senseless to me.
Yeah, and last week the Raging Cajuns were probably just starstruck. They saw something blue in the sky, went for shelter. That's not going to happen with a Bear. No, not at all.
Well, the last game in the West region, we've got Wisconsin versus Oregon. The Ducks versus the Badgers. I personally have the Badgers. I thought they looked great against the Eagles, who, at first we thought were extinct, not extinct, endangered. But they sure looked extinct to me. I mean, they got just pummeled by the Badgers, and I think the Ducks might be a little bit of a closer game, but I mean, I'd still pick a double-digit win for Wisconsin.
Yeah, but I'm gonna agree with you here. Now to our last region, the Midwest. The Wichita State Shockers are playing the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah, Wichita State won.
Wildcats.
Wichita State won pretty big. I don't think they really shocked anyone. I mean, they kind of just beat up Cal Poly all over the place. And I'd look for another big win. Not in a margin. But as far as a quality win, Cal Poly, obviously, no disrespect to Cal Poly, but kind of a below average opponent. I think that the Kentucky Wildcats.
Wichita State's gonna win.
Yeah,
they're gonna win. All right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Next game, the happy St. Louis Billikens versus the Louisville Cardinal. Louisville almost choked on a Jasper. It almost happened.
It was close.
Like, the Heimlich got it out.
Yeah.
So they advance. But the Billikens are so happy. Can they beat the Billikens?
Yeah, coming off a huge comeback victory over NC State. You got to stick with St. Louis.
Yeah, I agree. St. Louis, the happy Billikens. Our next game is the Tennessee Volunteers versus, an upset, the Mercer Bears. Where'd they come from?
Yeah, I mean, the Volunteers, they clearly didn't volunteer to lose against Iowa. And then they come out and they just pummel UMass in a total controlling game. Did you see that block?
Oh my,
my
God! What
gosh.
a block!
Jeez.
Volunteering to block.
Yeah. And I mean, the Mercer Bears was a huge, just monumental win over Duke. I mean, Duke was my team, I know. And, you know, actually both our teams went down in the first round. And it's tough to say, but, I mean, I got to pick the Volunteers. I mean, they look hot, and I'm picking the Volunteers to volunteer to win. Win over the Bears.
That's a tremendous pick, Freddie. The last game of our third round, right here. Here it comes. The Texas Longhorns versus your Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I don't personally agree with this pick. I think we're going to kind of split here.
Yeah.
He's going with the Longhorns. I'm going with the Wolverines. I mean, I'm a Wolverine fan. I just can't do it. I think we're playing too good, and I think the Volunteers will be a better competition.
But if this is mascots, I think we got to go with the Longhorns. We'll see. We'll remain split.
Well, I think the Wolverines. I mean, you know, pretty vicious animals. There's more than one. I got the Longhorns.
Longhorns.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, I mean, maybe if the Wolverines are like hibernating or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
We'll let you know in a few days.
We're going to go through all of our picks right now. We're just going to name them off. Florida, Stephen F. Austin, Dayton, Kansas.
Virginia, Michigan State, Iowa State, and UConn Huskies.
Arizona, San Diego State, Baylor, Wisconsin.
Wrapping it up with shockers. A big St. Louis beating Louisville. Tennessee, the Volunteers. Me personally, the Wolverines. Bill here.
Longhorns. Well, that wraps it up for this week's show. See you soon.